We're going to talk with another Halloween haunter who has been doing this for decades. Monica, she and her husband have been creating this maniac mansion in Covina. And can you believe it? Hundreds of people visit this home haunt in Covina. They've been doing it for 20 years, she and her hubby. So, Monica, great to have you here.
Thank you, Cindy. Good to be here.
Yeah, so tell me, it sounds like this can be really a couples thing. I've heard of several people who've either met and fallen in love over, the mutual passion for Halloween and Halloween haunts and such. Or is it something that after you met your guy, then you get, hey, let's do this?
I think it's helpful if both people in the couple are into it.
Mm-hmm.
You get all kinds of couples, those who are both into it, those who drag each other into it. Then there's the one where one is into it and the other wants nothing to do with it. But I think it's a lot healthier. It's certainly helpful if you both engage in the madness at the same time.
Madness. So the couple that haunts together stays together.
Yes, if they don't tear each other's throats out before the haunt opens, yeah.
All right, so tell me, what is the Maniac Mansion? It from the pictures, it looks like it's got a little bit of a carnival thing going on.
The Maniac Mansion has changed over the years. For the first 15 years, we changed it every year. But when we went high-tech, so much work was involved and so much money invested in the building that the theme stays the same from year to year now until we get the energy to change it. It is a carnival, a haunted carnival.
Mm-hmm. Now, that doesn't sound scary to me, but I guess in kind of a creepy way it can be, huh?
I think, different people are different.
Mm-hmm.
We have children and teens who won't even come up the walkway.
Oh, really?
The front yard we try to keep, in my opinion, it's Disney-esque. There's a lot of animation and figures to look at. Then you can go through a dark maze in the garage, which might be a little bit more intimidating to some people. And then it exits through a spinning tunnel that disorients the brain and causes you to lose your balance. And that always delights the boys.
And that's the Vertigo Alley, huh?
Vertigo Alley.
Uh-huh. Well, I guess I can kind of imagine how Disney characters in a certain way could be almost dark and scary. I saw on Facebook a picture of some vintage Disney costumes and masks, and they kind of had, how puppets and dolls sometimes in scary movies can take on that, really clowns. They can take on this.
Sure.
Yeah, so I guess I'm with you there.
We try to stay family friendly because we're in a neighborhood and we want them to be happy that we're here.
Mm-hmm.
We want people to come back year after year. So we try to make it so that there's enough to interest the adults and yet not terrify the children. Every haunter has a different agenda, and some people really go for the scare haunt and the blood and the gore. And we try to keep it a little bit more general, a little bit more witty and entertaining.
Mm-hmm. And so what is involved? I mean, how much time commitment? You and your husband, just the two of you doing this, and when do you begin? And
Tom and I started this many years ago with just a few skeletons in the front yard. And then about 6 years ago, we took on a partner in the form of our old friend Mitch Friedman. And the three of us started moving towards larger and larger things. Then we got into hard wall construction, plywood buildings, animation, animatronics. And we've roped in various other specialists when we've needed them. It's pretty much the three of us. It's a year-round endeavor in terms of planning and building large items, and then we start actually putting this up the last weekend of August.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's an effort, especially when people are working, and everyone says, well, you have 2 months to get ready for Halloween, when in reality you have 8 days on the weekends.
Yeah.
And you've got a little city to build and a vortex to build and a garage maze to build and all the decoration that goes into it.
You sound pretty relaxed. I mean, Halloween is just next weekend, but you're okay.
If you don't develop some kind of a philosophy to handle it, it's no fun anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it is, after all. It's supposed to be a holiday, right?
Right. We're supposed to, it's hard work, but we want to have fun with it. And if we aren't having fun, then we need to plan more and we need to start earlier so we can have fun too.
So how did everyone hear about this? I mean, hundreds of people. Where are they coming from?
That's a funny thing because we live on a tiny cul-de-sac with only 6 houses up in the hills. It's not easy to find. And when we moved into this house, we had about 8 trick-or-treaters. But over the years, just as a result of doing Maniac Mansion, one child tells another,
Really?
school tells another. And then when we got really big a few years ago, the kids started texting each other.
Oh, yeah. Now with Twitter and Facebook, oh, my gosh, right?
You stand out in the middle of the cul-de-sac, and you can see them calling each other and going, you've got to get over here.
Uh-huh.
So, yes, it's grown to hundreds of people, lines around the block.
You've got your own little marketing team.
I wish I did.
And then is this all in the front yard, or give us a sense of how it looks as we approach your property?
The front yard is, the yard is wide. It's quite wide, and it occupies the entire front yard. There's a full-size carousel that occupies half of the yard.
And did you build that carousel?
My husband did. He's an engineer. He designed it, and he built it.
Wow.
And it works.
And where do you keep it in the off-season?
It breaks down into surprisingly manageable pieces, and they're stashed in various spots around the property, under the eaves and in the attic, and we find ingenious places.
You got to love those engineers.
Yeah.
And so you guys are kind of old school because you build it all yourselves.
Absolutely.
And where do you get your supplies and all the stuff to...
Scrounge.
Yeah.
You know, there's quite a bit of money that goes into lumber and paint and various components. You scrounge what you can, and you try to be as creative as you can.
And you dress up for this, don't you?
Some people do.
I mean, you, because you're kind of like, you're the maven of the thing. You're the mistress.
I try to have at least some kind of a gown or something that sets me apart so I can be the focal point for crowd control. And we have had in the past a couple of actors running around working the crowd, giving them somebody to interact with, and they're dressed in costume.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 just being like, oh my gosh, I think I'm going to pass out, and 1 being, oh, that wasn't very scary. Where would you rank your Halloween haunt?
I have been told by some people, you should have put up signs, this is not appropriate for children under 6, and they were upset about that. And yet we've had teenage boys who were terrified and had to be carried through it, and other people just enjoy. So it's an individual sort of a thing. Where I would put it on the scale, I would say if you enjoy Disneyland, it's must see.
Oh, good. And you said you have animation.
Lots of animation. I think we have 36 animated props.
Wow. And the engineer did that too, your husband.
Yeah. And Mitch Friedman, whose specialty is electronics. We all work on these things together. So the skeletons talk and move their heads, and other creatures move and things pop up, and various things like that.
So is this for free, or do we pay something, or what happens when we...
Well, no, we pretty much do it for our own satisfaction and to give people and kids a memory. So, no, it's free to the public.
Isn't that nice? So we go... Do you have a website, right?
We do. We have a little website. We're not exactly website savvy, but it's there just to give people the dates and a couple of photos and the address.
And it's maniacmansioncovina.com. Right?
Yes.
And when does it open up? Is it opening midweek or something next week?
We're going to be running Saturday night, which is the night before Halloween.
Okay.
And then on Sunday night, Halloween night, we'll be running, and of course with treats for the children.
So just the 2 nights?
Just the 2 nights this year.
Okay. So what would you recommend for people who are inspired by what you're saying? And I mean, boy, it just sounds like so much fun to get into it, and then to have, once you have the rhythm down, it's like you have your supplies. It isn't as difficult. It sounds like you can just kind of add a few more little pieces every year, but you've got your thing together. What would you suggest we do to kind of get started?
Having done this for so many years, the thing that I would advise is make a plan and start small. Start with one scene, get that scene finished. The next year, add another scene or another complicated prop. Work in zones or in pieces. If you try to build Maniac Mansion in 1 year, you will not succeed and probably lose your mind.
Yeah.
But if you take it in pieces and you build a little bit year by year, you have more to look forward to. Then when you get to the saturation point where you just don't have time to put up any more stuff, that's a clue to you to stop.
Yeah. And so you have some costumes. You and your husband are dressed up, and people can wear costumes as well. And then you have candy for people, right?
Sure, for the children. Sure.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And you're hosting a party tonight, so it's nice of you to take some time in spite of all you have going on. But you say the people they insist on you having this Halloween party.
This This is the 19th year that all of this started out as a party for our friends where we decorated the inside of the house. And so we've continued that now for 19 years. It was only after the party started that we moved outdoors and began to think it would be nice to do a little something for the neighborhood. So yes, there should be a horde descending here in about 4 hours. So we're getting ready right now.
Very fun.
This will be kind of a dress rehearsal to see how much of the haunt is ready and how much we have left to do this coming week.
Well, we're going to bring in another guy that I think you probably know from this group, CalHaunts. Dennis Greiser, you're back with us. Can we hear you now? There you go.
Hopefully you can hear me now.
Now we can hear you. Okay.
And, hello, Monica.
Hi, Dennis.
Yeah, so it really is a little. It's a community. It's a fraternity. It's a club. It just sounds like so much fun. Just sharing in this whole Halloween thing year round and learning together on how to make your house spooky and scary and creative and all that good stuff.
It is very much. I would almost go so far as to say it is a family. Everyone has their own gifts. There are things that they know, things they can do, and things that they can't do. But chances are somebody else can help you out. Mm-hmm. And at CalHaunts, it's uniquely structured in that for each month working up to Halloween, someone is going to teach a project, and you can make it and take it home. And you can build it inexpensively because there'll be a group purchase of materials bringing the price down. Mm. Plus, there's a potluck, and even if I'm not building the project, I love to hang out with haunters.
You guys sound like so much fun. Well, you guys don't go away because we want to talk a little bit more about what if we aren't an engineer or a Disney, animator? How are we going to do all this? We need some help. Besides joining CalHaunts, what else can we do to really get our spooky on? You're listening to Home Wizard Cindy Dole. We're back after this because we're just getting started.